visor covers. When I looked about an hour ago, there were 7 still available. If you even think you want one, you should leave this video right now and go grab one while you can. Or 2. Or all 7. As things get tighter and we start building other stuff, you will probably find that if you had these, you could sell them at a premium as prices continue to climb on everything. Butt packs are started. Those are Highlander. Multicam Arid over here. Those will be finishing tomorrow. And it looks like we've already started Woodland as well. And then we also have 6 mags stacked in Woodland chest rigs going. If you're not sure what that is, those are the stacked mag pouches. Holds 6 mags, AK or M4. Has 2 columns of PALs. Has 2 columns of PALs on each side. So you could put compact tear-off med pouches on both sides, or smoke grenades, or whatever you want. Witherspoon, looks like you've been busy. Holy shit, man. Getting a lot done. Watch the podcast trailer. Right on, Billy. Sam Carroll, how are you? Byron Roberts, Travis Goen, what's up? Cody Cassidy, Tom Garthwaite, how are you? Desert Rat, RDB, 1934. Bill, James Barden, what's up, man? Chuck Peoples, how are you? Wyatt. Leonard Fisher, what's going on? All right, what do we want to talk about? What do you guys want to discuss? These are the lids of the butt pack, and there is a pocket inside there also. Maddie, what's up? Let's hit them thumbs up, guys. More plants there. We got a lot of rain. We got some storms here. Supposed to get pretty bad next couple days. I have a few Raid AKM4 micros left. I've got them in left hand and right hand. As things get crazier, dudes that wear this shit for real, they spray paint this stuff. You go back 25 years ago, 20 years ago, when all the war stuff was first kicking off, guys were buying literally any color they could get. Seals were coming in. I'm like, all I got's black. They're like, we'll take it, we'll spray paint it. That subload right there passed hands through several different dudes, did 10 different deployments. And that's what that is. It's just spray painted different colors. We're all supposed to get storms raining here now, Chuck. Juliet Sierra, what's up? Can Hydro go on the back? Billy, it can go on the back if you have the H harness, which I think that rig comes with an H harness. A name for the podcast? We just called it Pulling the Thread. I don't know. SOE podcast, probably. We'll probably just put it on the exact same channel, so it'll come out on the same one Pulling the Thread was on. See, Biden came out and said this morning that there would be hell to pay if chemical weapons. Sound familiar? You know we've done all this before, right? Think of Syria. Exact same thing. It was just a proxy war. We just didn't fight it. Just like the Russians, they used contractors. I had friends that were over there. Had engagements with these contractors. A lot of empty toes. That's where the FUPAs go. They had Brandon's meds turned up. I'd hate to be the dude who had to buy a hot pink chest rig. We've never even made a hot pink chest rig. Lone Star, how are you? Got my box of badass today. Freeze dried cheese is crazy good. Isn't it good, man? How would you describe that? You know what? I think it tastes like Cheez-Its. I think it tastes like Cheez-Its. Those are boxes of chicken breast in there. We did a fridge clean out. That'll all go to the animals tomorrow. Yeah, they're after your guns, guys. They're after your guns. They're after your guns. They're after your food production. They're after any semblance of freedom that you had. They're after your children, because then they can indoctrinate, right? If they can just condition your kids to believe something different than you do through public education, they don't have to worry about your guns, because when you die or when you're too old to fight, your children will just give them your guns. EMT, what's up? Stop paying the news attention because they keep taking and no action other than against laws and abiding citizens. That's it exactly, right? Ban guns for you, but the criminals still have them. Did you listen to Paskey talk about how many, all the ghost guns, right? But nobody asked her the hard question. Well, how many crimes have you recovered ghost guns at, right? Where are these ghost guns they keep talking about? Start something to keep the getting hammered in an election. Of course they will. They do every year. Well, news has always been propaganda. We just realize it now. Every country's news is just propaganda. CNN, it's just propaganda. And if you don't like CNN, listen to Fox. It's the same fucking show. What you need to pay attention to are all your smart meters, right? How many of you guys have smart meters? I would bet that every one of you has smart meters, whether you realize it or not at this point. So in Germany, they're going around and going, hey, you can only heat your house to 65 degrees. You can't heat your house above 65 degrees. And anybody with means or people with, money will be like, oh, I don't give a shit. So they'll just run their heat up, right? Their situation won't change when people with lesser money will change on a greater scale. When do they start controlling it through the smart meter? And I thought, I said last night, I go, maybe they don't have that capability through there. But Amanda pointed out in the last couple of years, we've added 2 services on the property here. And she goes, they come in and they set the meter, but they still have to turn it on from the office 10 miles up the road. So if they can turn it on, they can definitely turn it off. And I would assume they could also throttle it. So, your social credit score, your COVID passport, right? They have all these COVID apps. It's not about COVID. It's about your social credit score. You say something, you just saw them shut people's bank accounts off in the United States who donated to Truckers Fund in Canada. So when are they going to start throttling your power? When are you going to have suspended abilities to buy things at the grocery store? You can only buy certain things. You can't buy the items you like. You can only buy the gruel, right? They won't keep you from eating because they're still going to tax you, and they still want that movement of money so that they can steal their tax off of it. And if they shut it off, the local municipalities, they keep part of that tax base. The state keeps part of that tax base, and then the feds steal their portion, right? So they'll make sure they still let you spend money. You just won't be able to spend money on the things you want. They say, yeah, we have pay-as-you-go here too, Cody, as an option. I view that more as for people that, put $5 in their gas can. $5 in their gas tank. 2 black visor crayons, right on. Thanks for the order, buddy. Everything is now on the Internet of Things. Not yet, it's not. It's moving that way. It's headed that way. We don't have 5G on here yet. I don't have 5G. I probably have some 5G devices in the building, electronics-wise, that I'm just not aware of. But like all of our light fixtures and shit aren't 5G. And for 5G to work the way they're talking about, everything has to be 5G. What's the guest on tomorrow's afternoon's live about? The Prepper Homesteaders. They Prepper Homesteaders. Lone Star, I don't know who's on our. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if it's just Nicole and I or if we have a guest. Hernandez, what's up? Wilkinson, what's up? Need to spend my money on a multicam sleeping mat sleeve. Do you really, though? I don't even know what that is, sleeping mat sleeve. Put your podcast title on the quote of the day board at work. Thanks, man. They say you will own nothing, be happy. Actually, what they say is you will live in the pod, eat the bugs, own nothing, and be happy. That's the full quote. That's the part you're missing. Cut your power off, smart meter, electric cars, hurt your business, shut down the internet. Yes, and all cars to come out by, what did they say? 2027? Have to have a kill switch for your safety, you know, in case somebody steals your car. They want to be able to shut it down. Well, we already have that. You know, fucking OnStar does that. You think they can't shut your truck down? Both my new Toyotas, they know how many miles I have. They fucking send me an email right when it's time to have the fucking tires changed and oil changed and tires rotated. They know. Guest tomorrow is Matt and Gabby of Sovereign Living Project. There we go, LW of Jax. How did you know that? Just because you read it? They actually are very close here. They came out, they were here at our last event for a little while, and they live up the road here. My power company won't remove my smart meter. No, of course they won't. Of course they won't remove your smart meter. Do you feel it's affecting you? A lot of people are greatly affected. A lot of people don't realize, especially like in apartment complexes I've seen, like you'll have your bedroom and your headboard or your head of your bed right on the other side of the wall is the whole meter bank for the apartment complex, and it affects people fucking in crazy ways. Did I get your belt message? I did. Messaging me in private messenger is never the way to get any kind of, like, I always intend to do that. What you don't realize is when you send me a message through Messenger, it goes to the business page. And usually I'm doing 10 other things. Like I have grease on my hands or I'm dealing with animals. So I glance at that. I always intend to go back to it, but it's never on it's not on my radar because it doesn't go to my stuff, right? Email is the best way to do that. And what you need to do is you said you were going to go try pants on. So I ended it at that. Go try pants on, see which pants fit you correctly. And then we're going to build you a belt to the size of the pants. And yes, we can do that any size. It doesn't matter. It can go bigger than what's available on the site if need be. And the other thing is too, you said you wrapped something around you and kind of measured it or whatever. You need to wrap that around where your belt loops are going to go. And you just lost a lot of weight and you probably didn't have a pair of pants that actually had belt loops from the conversation we had. You've been wearing like sweatpants or something. So you need to go put on some actual pants and see what your ass and your thighs and your body will fit into. Button them up, pull those belt loops to where they should go, which is different on people. So you need to know where that pants fits you comfortably, and then we will build you a belt to fit that pair of pants. What's the name of the podcast? I don't know what we're going to name the podcast, guys. There's not even a fucking podcast yet. We did a video. We're going to take those videos. We're going to take, if we do these, we're going to record them on a camera like we always did. We're going to put them on YouTube. We're going to rip the audio, and we're going to put them on a podcast platform, which uses RS, like really simple syndication, so it'll put it on every platform. SOE on pager was 503. No, that's not what it was. Do you have recommended bag to house an AR-15 with takedown kit and folded stock? So you're gonna with takedown kit. Does that mean it has a folding stock like side folder, or you're gonna take the upper receiver off the lower receiver? You can put a full-size AR in our deplorables bag, which you missed. They sold out last week. I think they're all gone. You can put a taken down AR in one of our closed bags. We'll hold them. Other than that, oh no, I have one multicam deplorable bag down there left. Other than that, that's it. I mean, I'm sure somebody's like, nah, John, I put one in blah, blah, blah. So if you have some other info, go ahead and throw it out there. Smart meters can't throttle. The only reason they were invented is because they don't want to send a third-party company out to drive-by house using gas to scan meters in drive-by. Got it, Pitt. But they can turn them off. Can't throttle, but they can turn them off. And do you really think there's not a smart meter that they can throttle? I mean, obviously you're commenting on it, so you probably know a lot more about it than I do. John, what's the most used SOE bag for me? Large tool bags. Takedown, meaning upper stays on, barrel is removed. Got it. Dude, you could put it in a lot of shit then. I mean, our medium clothes bag, anything larger than our medium clothes bag, to include the medium, would probably hold it. It's just a bag, though. It's not padded or anything. Got one of those last couple deplorable bags. Love it. Got probably 100 pounds worth of kit in it. Yeah, it'll fucking take a lot of weight, man. I am witness to them turning it off. Don't pay the bill, and they will hit the button. Yeah, I just know that it was in place. It was in place. They were supposed to go right back to the place, check in, tell them to turn it on. We talked to the dude we know that actually set the meter. He said, I told him to turn it on. And it actually required Amanda driving up there, speaking to somebody, and then boom, like magic, from 10 miles away, we had power here. Electric on a house, they have to pull the meter socket out. Gas, they have to turn that valve lock. Pitt, I don't think that's the case here, man. Are you an electric dude here in my town? Because that's not the case. Turned it back on 2 minutes after I paid it. Yep. And they pay you a what do they call it? A reconnection fee. .5-inch AR loft folder will fit in a large tool bag. Fat nuts. That sounds awesome. Aren't smart meters supposed to work with smart appliances? And I thought it was to throttle usage. I don't know, but there's a lot of talk around right now, and that maybe there's different types. I'm sure they came out with smart meters almost 10 years ago. I'm sure they've evolved since then. I guess it just depends on whether your municipality invested in them or not. There's a ton of grumbling here locally that they have changed the billing cycle. So they changed the billing cycle so it's like 2 weeks earlier now for electric. So all these people are fucking up in arms that they don't get their check to the 4th, but the billing cycle is now on the 1st. I haven't seen a reason as to why it did it. But what it is, in fact, going to do is a lot of people will be late on their payment, so then they will have to pay that fee, that late fee. Like here in this fucking town, they want you to go pay cash or write a check. And if you use the debit card system, they use a third-party debit card system. and it will only run, I think it only runs for $250, right? So our bill here is $3,500 on this property. So we have to run that that thing. No, it's more. It's 500. We run that thing like it gets run 5 times, and I want to say they charge us like $11 processing fee for each fucking transaction. It is such fucking bullshit. Get their books in order. Yeah, it sure fucking boosted up their money though. Philly just went back to a mask mandate. Not in Nashville. They turned mine off over a holiday weekend and then charged me to turn it back on. New smart gas meters can't be turned off remote, but the smart electric meters can. I don't think we have the smart gas meters yet here. $100 reconnection fee. Ordered me a battery wallet tonight. Chris, what's up, buddy? In the ghetto, when power is shut off, they pull the meter and jump it with slugs. What are slugs? What is that? I've seen that happen where they put that in there. What is that thing made for? Or is it just, do they just use like bolts or something? Could we get an agriculture rate for our compound? Probably not, because we're zoned commercial here. Just got notice at my rural water company that they have a new system where they can throttle flow to your house if you use too much. Can implement fines and even terminate service scare tactics. There you go. I think you're going to see a lot more of that. Do you believe it's over resources, or do you believe it's over control? Take your pick, I guess. Pennies to jump meters. Old meters charge you highest draw between the 220 volt wires. New meters charge for both 120 volt wires. Billing cycles are sometimes adjusted for the delay customers are experienced in receiving their bill from the post office. I would venture to say that all of these people have the internet, since they're on the internet upset about it. Why don't they just give us a website where we can just pay that shit on the fucking internet? Building engineer, 1,500 apartments. I have a smart meter installed now on gas and electric. Yeah, we don't yet here. My water company still goes door to door, has to scan the back box. Water, it's all about water. Yeah, there's a lot of places that fucking hammer you for collecting water, right? It's illegal. They'll literally put you in jail for harvesting anything beyond 55 gallons of rainwater. John Rich on Tim Pool, speaking a lot of truth, had a great story about meeting Pelosi and talking firearms. I did not. Was that tonight? I was listening to Marfoogle News tonight. Saw my uncle use 2-gauge wire and jump his meter. Had it that way for months, never got caught. The man is definitely taking the water. That's why well water is best to get out of incorporated areas. Rainwater thing, why is it illegal? I believe it's control. Because then you don't need as much of their water. I believe it's all about control. I think it's number 1, control, and number 2, revenue. I've been listening to Marfoogle too. Wonder why they're pushing that on us now. What do you mean? What do you mean pushing it on you? I don't ever see his shit. I have to actually physically go look for it. I'm subscribed to him and everything. It never fucking pops up for me. EMC company sent letters out saying payment is due on the same day, so no one needs to use excuse that post office is late delivering bill. Also set up online payment portal so people had no excuse. Well, Reed, I mean, they totally can come in and pay. They totally can come in and pay. Absolutely. They sell the illegal rainwater as safety, like seat belts and vaccine. Yeah, there you go. Want to maintain a reason to regularly access your property. Hit. Ask them to let you scan it instead, see what happens. There might be something to that, man. I've seen Marfugal until it popped. I never seen Marfugal until it popped up a few days ago. There's a very good possibility that it's popping up for you because I watch Marfugal, right? All of our algorithms are all interlaced. Things that you guys watch will pop up recommended to me because you and I interact on this platform. Just like things we talk about, I wonder what that cat's looking at. Just like things we talk about on our live feed here, when you get off on Facebook and Instagram, you will see targeted marketed ads to you for those items. What are you doing? You got more rabbits today? Right on. Killer workout. Got all the seeds started. Sucks being in northern growth. You need a greenhouse, buddy. Stu Peters, watch the water. They're saying COVID-19 is cobra snake venom in our water. Well, cobra venom, all snake venom, it doesn't, you can drink it and ingest it, it doesn't matter. And it's just a complex protein. It doesn't remain very volatile once it's outside of the system, once it oxidizes right. So if you put it in, I could watch you put cobra venom in a glass of water and I would drink it for you. Unless you have open active cuts or something in you, that's the only way it could hurt you. So I don't know if it's an analogy they're using it as an analogy. I've heard they were talking about putting vaccines in food and all kinds of crazy shit. My water company is Henry Drilling. Where's he out of? Henry Drilling. And do you know a man at Henry Drilling? Mountain Rider, what's up? Saw viper venom react with blood. 1 drop turned it into blood rice cake. Yeah, but when you ingest it, it doesn't go in your bloodstream. 2 helicopter crash into each other, Fort Bragg. 1 soldier died. Josh, you sent that to me, and I was actually in the middle of a massage. I had just gotten up to pee. I glanced at it, and I had not gone back and watched it yet. Backup power, spare pump, and learn how to replace it yourself. Yeah. Also, I mean, you can use a fucking manual pump for it, or a, what do they call that? That bucket. It's a long tube. Amish bucket, I think is what they call it. If a rattlesnake bites itself, can you eat the meat? Yes, you could. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually been bit by a rattlesnake. I got bit by a rattlesnake October 1st, 1986, on my left thumb, full envenomation. 6 bottles of anti-venom overnight, special care unit, which is right below ICU. They were tracking it, talking about fasciotomy, which is when they cut it open to release pressure. Yeah, I got a real rattlesnake bite. Young kids don't have a chance in this world. My wife said she wants to adopt a kid from a third world country. I said, well, you don't look far for that. Why adopt a kid from a third world country? You spend a fortune doing so, and there are kids here you can adopt. I guess it's easier from a third world country, but it's all about money. If they were concerned with the kids, because they put the kids in terrible fucking systems. A lot of these foster kids have been sold into the sex trade 2-3 times. They recover the same kids over and over. And it's coming from the fucking caseworkers. Like, everybody knows how corrupt the system is. If they were worried about it, they wouldn't worry about charging the parents so much money to fucking adopt them. Not only snake venom, they've done things to it, added many things for it to get in your blood. Metal nanoparticles, maybe. Like, you could say the most outlandish shit that you just completely pulled out of your ass and fabricated, and I'd be like, yeah, maybe so. I'm of the belief that almost anything in science fiction has already been done. And I'm of the belief that your government would not mind one bit to test it on you, hoping for more control over you or elimination of you. Bear Independent and his collab. Oh, Caleb House. Yes, absolutely. I don't know why she has that in her head. My thoughts are, my kids are almost grown. Why start over? I wouldn't want to do that right now. Imagine if things truly got bad in the next 6 months, having a child with you. And that doesn't mean, good on her, right? Good on her. She wants to have a fucking kid. But imagine if you guys had to move very quickly. How about all the formula stuff? All the people who can't get formula right now, all the food stuff that's going on. You have food riots in fucking dozens of countries right now, literally fucking places being lit on fire over this shit. Dogs that got hit before, one died, one lived. I had a dog bit on the nose. We're not sure what got him. Probably a copperhead, which isn't as bad of an envenomation. Not everything we're told is bad for us is actually bad. Absolutely. And most of what your government tells you is good for you is not good for you. Look at the food pyramid. Nuclear physicist who ate supposedly deadly levels of radiation and alleged world government uses sites like Chernobyl as hiding places. That's very possible. The Russians seem to have a huge interest in what was going on at Chernobyl, except, and it's not to say that they couldn't be hiding things at Chernobyl, but there's hundreds of fucking tourists that go through Chernobyl every month. I know dudes that have been through Chernobyl. It would be wise for everybody to plant a garden. Tomorrow. Last weekend. It'd be great for everybody to have a garden no matter what. It's a trip because during World War II, they had news campaigns and ad campaigns that it is your right, it's your duty as a U.S. citizen, as an American, to have a 4x8 garden in your front yard and keep 3 chickens. Hit by a skunk last year. It was a bitch. Food pyramid said 8 to 11 servings of carbs. Yes, that's gruel. The king owns the forest and all the meat in the forest. And when you peasants poach his meat, right, he has gamekeepers. They whip you in public. They put you in locks and stocks. They make you work off your debt, right? And all you peasants down in the village, you get to grow grain crops to feed his animals, and as a thank you, they let you keep part of the grain crops. You know what gruel is? Gruel? Look up what the definition of gruel is, because that's what you get to eat. I think they just staged at Chernobyl fruit this invasion because they knew that Ukraine wouldn't be dumb enough to bomb. Maybe so. Can you put in priority that items most important to save up? It depends where you are, right? Where are you? If you're in the city, like if you're in an apartment and you're saving some water, what's your plan for, let's say you live on the 10th floor. What's your plan for when your lobby's on fire? An apartment building seems like a great place to go fucking loot and just go door to door and maraud, rape, pillage, right? Because that's what they do. That's spoils of war. When society collapses, the first thing they do is take your women. Men have the will to fight. Women do as well. But when you have a bunch of dudes, they want women. And they fucking will snatch up all the women from anybody weak, and they will kill the ones that they can't take. That's going to be the first thing that's going to happen, especially in cities. Florida suburbs. Water shouldn't be hard for you in Florida, right? Garden, have some place to garden. Start planting things around that doesn't even have to be on your property. You can plant things that will grow around Florida. If you're in Florida, you should look up David the Good. He does a lot of gardening. He calls it grocery aisle gardening. And his garden doesn't look like a garden. It looks like a mess quite often. You need somewhere to defend it. You need training to know how to defend it. You need some like-minded friends. If your plan is to just hide and hope nothing happens, that's probably not happening. Your biggest immediate threat will be your closest neighbors. Your second immediate threat will probably be local government. Last year was the only year I haven't had a garden 37 years. World War II, it was your duty to have eggs and a small amount of vegetables. That's what those chickens were for, absolutely. And you fed your scraps to those chickens. And those ads are still on YouTube. You can watch them now. And while we're having this conversation, for anybody who hasn't seen it, or even if you have, it's well worth going back and listening or watching again, Wartime Farms. Wartime Farm. You should check that out. The claim in 2 years, we will only be able to feed 6 billion, not the 8 billion currently on the planet. So you know what that is, right? You know who immediately gets hit the hardest is Africa. And they're gonna pull on your heartstrings, and we've got to rescue the Ethiopian children with the distended bellies. That's your immediate 2 billion that they're willing. That's always where Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has killed fucking millions of people. AIDS ran rampant through there. They always let that all happen to Africa first. That's a test site. How do we decide what items to make next? Why? Ask the real question you're asking, because it just depends. Depends from day to day. Depends on who's not here what day. Depends on what we have more material of. Depends on what I think I can sell the most of. It depends on, do I need cash inflow coming in? I mean, there's a billion answers. And if I told you the real answer as to what we're going to build tomorrow, that could very well change before I even wake up. Growing tobacco. They do it empty. Jaeger and his brother, Barry, actually picked tobacco when they were younger. There's tobacco barns around here where they still smoke and dry the tobacco. More so Kentucky than Tennessee, but it's still here. I don't know shit about it, buddy. Don't know anything about it. SARS originate Middle East Africa. Did it originate there, or was it tested there first? Townsend. I love Townsend's. They have more than just that channel, too. They have multiple channels. Townsend's videos are amazing. I usually listen to those in the morning, especially their cooking ones. Gates publicly said vaccinations could bring down the population 10 to 15%, and they hit Africa the hardest with their vaccines. Do you know what else he said in that same paragraph? The reporter said, "How would you do that?" And he said, "We would do it through vaccinations. We would sterilize through vaccinations." There are many videos, different instances of him saying that. Tobacco is very hard on soil. God says we must love our neighbors as well as our enemies, because more often than not, it is our neighbor who is our enemy. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I would just assume that everybody is your enemy, and until proven otherwise, you're probably a little safer operating in that manner. Oldest canned goods you've eaten? I've eaten canned goods that are 15, 20 years old. I opened some tuna in the kitchen less than a year ago. The date, and they kind of had like a little metallic taste to them, so I pulled the 2 cans back out. I took 2 cans of tuna, 2 boiled eggs, mashed them all up, mayonnaise, mustard, sweet relish. Not that bullshit dill relish, sweet relish for tuna fish egg salad sandwich, right? Had a little metallic taste, so I pulled the cans back out, and those were dated 2013. I think they said 2013 on them. I've eaten old cans. If I open it up and it's not swollen and it doesn't stink, I'll eat it. Regulated by the U.S., only allowed to grow in certain areas unless you have a license. Yes, but that's not what he was asking, and that's not why he's asking that. We allowed versus able. If you grow yourself a couple tobacco plants and you're not out trying to sell it, nobody's going to say shit about it. Just like making moonshine, just like growing weed. I don't smoke tobacco, I don't smoke weed, I don't make moonshine. But fuck them. Like, that's where you're headed. Fuck them. Just like cotton, you have to use very good farming practices and rotate crops. Yeah, run animals behind it. Put animals after it. Trial on America's grand jury started today on Fauci. That won't fucking go nowhere. Okie Storm Chaser, what's up? Kent Rollins, I'll check that out, man. Actually, you know, I probably won't have to. When I turn YouTube on tomorrow morning, it will probably just pop up. Banning 80% lowers. I don't have any. I don't know anybody that has any 80% lowers. It's just one more way to chip away. It's one more way to get you guys. I'll bet the gun community, gun culture, whatever. I don't even know which side of that I would be on. I'll bet they're fucking up in arms fighting about it on the internet right now. I'll bet gun guys are fucking fighting with gun guys over it. It's more division, man. It's more division. 80% lower is some kit that you buy and then you finish it up, right? I have so many projects started that I haven't finished. I have another building that looks almost like this building full of projects I haven't started. I couldn't imagine having to put together an 80% lower. Why don't you guys just buy fucking rifles? I get it. It's something you can do with your kid. I know I've heard all the arguments. I've heard all the support for it. I don't really have an opinion on it because it doesn't involve me. I have dudes around me all the time have fucking guns everywhere they go. I promise you, none of them are carrying 80% lowers. Grow a pot plant, but I can't grow thousands of acres. I can highly toxic. Yeah, I heard somebody today said, Yanasa Ventures, he was interviewing a farmer, a cattle farmer. And he said, all this beef is coming in from outside the United States. And as long as it's processed in the United States, it will say product of United States. It's coming from Nigeria. You don't really know where it's coming from. And you don't know what the cow died of, right? That's a question. What killed this animal? But they still label it as product of United States. It's very deceptive now. But he kept talking about feeding cows and finishing cows. And he said the highly toxic, fescue. Is fescue toxic to cows and animals? I was not aware of that. I recently planted thousands of dollars worth of fescue on the property here just because it puts up a quick green grass, and then we'll interplant other grasses within that. We just needed roots down really fast, and we used fescue. Water hemlock is also known as nightshade. Tyler, there's people that hold, they grow entire poison gardens. There's some beautiful ones throughout Europe. Ain't nothing wrong with 80%.